little warm.
What's
It had a little warm today.
Yeah, felt good.
Felt real good.
Kind of windy now.
You're all set.
At this time, I'd like to call the March 21st, 2022 Public Safety Committee to order at 5:04 PM. Roll call, Counselor Kelly.
Here.
Counselor Bob is excused. Mayor Rosenquist.
Here.
And Chairman Canales is here. All the committee members have received a copy of the minutes of the February 22nd, 2022 Public Safety Committee. I will now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Motion by Counselor Kelly, second by the mayor. All in favor?
Yeah. Aye.
All opposed? Carried. Now we go to item number 2. And what I'd like, or actually before that, Mayor, if you could just brief us on what happened. this week.
I appreciate that, Chairman Canales. First and foremost, I have to thank members of the Plattsburgh Police Department, members of the Plattsburgh Fire Department, and members of Department of Public Works. It was, Thursday? Was it?
Thursday.
I don't remember. It was just a few days ago, but it was a long day. Thursday, a motor vehicle and the train that comes through was involved in an accident. No one was injured. It was an accident, and it was just a matter of the parking area behind the train station, just a little too small for a full-size pickup to try to turn around and get out of that area. The front tire of the truck hopped over the train track. It could not get out, as tried as they might. If they were not able to back it off of the rail, as they were trying, the train came around the corner. Everybody got out of the way. The train hit the car and dragged it about 200-ish feet. From there, all crews responded. Fire, PD, DPW. DPW ended up removing the vehicle. We had detectives down there doing interviews, taking pictures, doing the report. So I just appreciate all of the work that the crews came together on.
Also want to take this time to congratulate the city PD as well with the work that they did early last week concerning the quote unquote active shooter situation that we had and just the response that they had to the city.
Correct, absolutely. And then as much as PD was involved, and people also should be aware, it was not in the city of Plattsburgh,
Correct.
but it did impact our city. Our department provided security measures up at the hospital as the investigation proceeded. But again, shout out to the folks that came up from our department to cover that issue. And thanks for the New York State Police who led that investigation as well.
Awesome.
Can I speak to that just for a second?
Please.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Um,
Can you speak at the microphone so everybody could? Yes, sir.
Yes, Chief York, I just want to speak to something that the mayor just said. I received a call from the New York State Police BCI lieutenant who talked to me for 10 minutes and had nothing but praise for our people. He went on and on and on. And particularly, he was very thankful that Lieutenant Mitchell was up at the hospital, took care of everything up there. They didn't, they just relied on him to tell him that. And he was very appreciative of detectives, make sure I get it right, Parmenter and Detective Kevin Jesse. Just the work that they did, finding the people that they needed to find. The
Correct.
state police didn't know these people. They got them just like that. And he wanted to tell me that what a good job they, not just during that incident, but year round, the job that they do. So this
Absolutely.
committee should know that.
Chief, thank you so much for bringing that to us. I appreciate that. Item number 2, Building Inspector Director McMahon, what you got for us? And you can go ahead, go through all the discussion points.
Chief, all right. Oh, Well, good work, gentlemen. Nice to meet you.
Okay, I got the agenda here. Let's see. First thing is monthly violation report. So, we do we tally up the monthly proactive reports that we do, getting out there and finding those with our own eyes. We, for the month of February, we had 18 violations we noted, ranging from parking on the lawn to loose garbage, couch by the road, et cetera. All 18 of those were resolved or have been resolved. The citizen complaint report for it's year to date, monthly. So the citizen complaint report, we got 18 complaints during the month of February. 12 of those have been resolved. The other 6 are in progress.
I'd like to
Any questions about that?
report of farm animals living in basement. Investigation in progress.
Is that true?
That's what it said.
I don't see everything, but I'll follow up on that one and get back to you
Animal
guys
house.
tomorrow.
All right.
Year to date citizen reports. Okay. Year to date citizen complaint report, we've got 40 so far this year. 33 have been resolved. The other 7 are in progress. Year to date proactive, we have noted 68 violations and 61 of them have been resolved. 7 are in progress.
And this is the proactive. This is the proactive complaint.
Yeah, so those are the proactive ones. We get out there in the morning and, everybody's got their own area that they patrol. And the last thing I have on the agenda is building permits year to date as compared to last year. Very, very similar in numbers. We had 38 this time last year. We have 40 this year. Those are permits issued. The fees received is a lot higher this year because we've had some more substantial construction renovation. And the commercial renovation runs a little higher on the fee.
Yeah.
So the number of permits themselves are very similar, but we've taken in substantially more money to date.
Excellent. Thank you.
Questions?
I don't have any. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure.
And for those that are watching this live stream, all of these reports will be on the website. for
We
them
do
to
make
see,
them
correct?
available. No, we can.
Whatever we're allowed to.
Yeah. There are some things that are with
Correct.
people's addresses and stuff. We just don't want to put people's addresses out there for violations, but there's a way for us to share that information that's private.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's-
PII goes in.
Yeah. Appropriate, I should say.
Item number 3, Police Department Chief. What do you have for us today?
Well, I gave it to the mayor. What would you like me to do?
So there's a number of the monthly parking reports we share that has been added to the shared drive. Right now, we're at February 2022, 149 tickets issued, $3,600 in revenue. That's for February. Year to date, we've issued 298 parking tickets and have collected right around $8,500 in revenue. That is compared to last year is down almost by about $6,000 compared. And then the how those are categorized are also in that report. The monthly call arrest report has also been included on this item. That's 3.2. Year to date, we've had 56 arrests, 17 misdemeanors and 8 felonies for February. We've had a number of animal control calls, dogs primarily in February, 16 calls, year to date, 35 calls in total. And then again, parking violations, which I've just reviewed.
Okay. We have draft resolution.
Going back, sorry, I just want to cover the monthly payroll because I think that's important. 3.3 monthly payroll. Right now, we are right around 14% of the payroll used, with the 85% remaining in that budget. There's 84% of the year remaining. So we're just right on track for our annual payroll. The overtime is a little different. We are tracking higher on overtime right now, which should help with adding 10 new officers that are going to be available to be on their own. Because as we all know, right now they're in field training, which requires field training officers. So they're kind of doubled up for the time being. Hopefully that alleviates towards that time when they can go out on their own. But right now we've used about 31% of budgeted overtime, and we have about 68% of budgeted overtime remaining, with 84% of the year to go. So we'll pinch a little bit more towards the end of the year, but we're tracking about right here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, draft resolution 3.4 requesting state legislation to add 3 police officers to the 384 Delta section of the New York State Policeman and Fireman's Retirement Assessment 20-year plan due to a retirement benefit election error. Motion by Mayor, second by Councilor Kelly. Discussion.
As I reviewed at one point, and hopefully this is a reminder, if not, to update members of this committee and members of the council. There were 3 officers that when they came on board filled out their paperwork incorrectly. Despite those individual officers filling out the paperwork incorrectly, it is the responsibility of the city, based on the collective bargaining unit, to put them in the proper retirement system. The retirement system they elected was a 25-year system. Again, it's the obligation of the city to put them in the 20-year retirement system, because they have been in the retirement system. There's a cutoff of 1 year where they can change their election, but they are well within their career. And as such, it does take an act of the state legislature to move them. This is the request to move them, and the approval to move them in partnership with Dan Stack's office.
So a few weeks ago, we voted on
The removing.
the request to change.
Correct.
And now it's been
Correct. And this is the,
accepted and
yeah, and this is the, I believe this is the clarification that their office requires, correct?
Well, now it's got a bill of the state and the Senate Assembly.
Yep.
The Assembly, the Senate. So we have to do this resolution, they get it, and then in May, they take it to the legislature with bill numbers on it.
Okay. All in favor of moving this to a regular meeting, say aye.
all right.
All right, all opposed? Carried. Item 3.5, discussion of video evidence collection and oversight, body worn and vehicle mounted cameras.
Thank you. So a while back, you will all hopefully remember that we had a representative from Motorola, who Motorola also manages our WatchGuard system, which is our in-car video capture system. We had a representative from Motorola come to discuss body worn cameras. This is as a result, there are 3 quotes for video collection, video evidence collection. One is body worn cameras, one is vehicle camera upgrades, and then one is a combination of body worn and vehicle camera quote. Both seem fairly reasonable. I was actually surprised at the amount that we would be looking at. Fundamentally, over a 5-year leasing cycle, which includes storage, searching software, hardware, the cameras themselves, docking stations in the vehicles, docking stations and data transfer stations at the actual station for 10 body cameras, as well as 15 replaceable, removable, rechargeable batteries. It's roughly around $29,000 a year for 5 years. It's not insurmountable. It is an expense, an annual expense. At the end, it is equipment that we own at the end of that process. So it's a lease to own, if you will. I think the only thing that is not the lease to own is the annual software costs, which is a cloud-based system. And that remains at $3,000 a year annual after the 5 years, or I should say it is an ongoing expense. And
The cloud
that's
service, and that's 3,000 a year?
for the evidence management software.
Okay, and that's not per device, that's just flat out.
That is for, I'm looking at this. Yes.
Okay.
So that's the body worn camera. That is both the combination of body worn cameras and vehicle cameras together. There's 2 more quotes provided for just in-car camera. In-car is it looks like it's a flat fee of $22,000. And then the body worn camera fee alone is $64,000. So I don't know, fairly reasonable if you look at it. And that's an annual invoice for just the body worn would be $20,000. Annual invoice for the vehicle only, it looks like it's about $22,000. So the combination of the two is quite a bit of savings for the city. This was also information requested by the EO 203 implementation committee, which I will now also provide them, as well as any additional information that they request from the city PD on issues of EO 203 implementation. But if you all have any questions, please let me know.
You have a comment, yes, Chief? Absolutely, please. You're the subject matter expert.
Yeah, I haven't been here that long, but I know a little bit about the system. When I was sheriff down in Warren County, we certainly, probably 10 years ago, did 2 years of study to look into this. And back then it was relatively new and very expensive. The prices have gone down. One thing that this committee should realize, when we start wearing body cameras, that's going to create a lot of foils. Okay, you're going to get a lot of foils, and foil work is a lot of time and a lot of energy. So we'll be reporting down the road who's doing it, and do we need just a foil officer to do that? I don't know yet, but I've heard from other people that have it. They got one officer just doing foil stuff all the time. But I'll keep you updated. We'll find out when and if we do go to this, what kind of foils are coming in and how much work that takes. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That's something that we'll take into consideration
Thank you.
for the future.
One last item for PD. Chief York and I have been working extensively together on the overall organizational structure at the police department. We are certainly happy to say that, as reported last week, we have promoted a lieutenant sergeant, formerly Sergeant Pete Mitchell, who's now Lieutenant Pete Mitchell. He's the longest serving officer in the police department at 23 years of service at our department. And subsequently, that created a number of vacancies in the department as well, for sergeant and corporal, as well as a detective as well. So we were able to fill in some really nice promotional gaps in the department, as well as install a sergeant in the detective division, add a detective into that division as well, promote Corporal Moore to sergeant's position, and are looking at promoting a couple more people into the corporate position, corporal position. With the recent retirement of Corporal Ledoux, there is some timeline, a gap between when we can promote to that position But we'll look at promoting there. In addition to that, we have also been talking about future organizational structure regarding filling in gaps of police, as well as a discussion that we should have more broadly with dispatch as well. But I think that at some point that the council will be very pleased with the philosophical discussion we've been having and planning for the future.
I hopefully would like to have a discussion in the future too, to discuss the potential of having 1099 W-9 employees that have the experience to take care of bridging the gap in between the younger guys getting into that rank and those that are retiring, getting out the system. For example, evidence collection and chain of custody. That's an area that we could possibly venture in discussion to see if we can do some 1099s for those positions, a very small 1099, but just to fill those gaps of experience that's lost.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item 4.1 and 4.2, Chief Lawless.
How we doing? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Call volumes in fire and EMS are holding to tradition for that month. We seem to be doing well there. What you're going to see is I did my year-to-date progress, and I updated it. What you're going to see is that we had 7 members complete an ice rescue training technician class, which is going to greatly improve our responses to any ice rescue. And we have 6 more that are going to be completing it this weekend with New York State. So that's going to significantly improve our responses and make it safer for our responses for both public and membership. We are also going to be this spring going to be doing some swift water training technician that is going to be able to get people in the river so that we are going to be ready and trained in case somebody goes in the river and we need to rescue them out, do it the safest way possible. Some other updates on some training is we are going to be doing some autism training that was facilitated by one of our officers. We're going to have a expert come in and give training on that and how to deal with and de-escalate some situations that we may come into with people of autism. So overall, we're doing we're progressing. We're doing well.
That's very good to hear. Could you go over with us real quick the monthly payroll and overtime report?
Payroll is down a little bit. Obviously, we have not hired an assistant chief yet. We're still working on that. The mayor and I are actively working on that. We had 3 positions slated. 2 are going to be starting the State Fire Academy on April 4th. So that will bump our overtime up a little bit. In order to cover those positions, we've had to use overtime for some of the holes in scheduling. That's why you'll see that that's up somewhat, and our contractual and civil service responsibilities that we cannot get away from. We are going to be doing some training next week with, we're going to have 10 members going through and becoming hazmat technicians. These are our bottom membership, but any overtime occurred will be paid for by it's a 5-county consortium, and all overtime will be reimbursed. So that will have no effect.
Chief, and just to add, I apologize to council and committee. The 3.3 report, 3.3, it says 3.3 PD payroll report. If you scroll down to the last 2 pages of that report, I apologize. It does include the 1100 and the fire department overtime report, and it does show that to date, as of February, at the end of February, the fire department has used about 13-14% of their budgeted payroll, where they have about 86% remaining, and we have, again, about 84% of the year remaining. So they're trending slim on their payroll. And, but again, you go to the fire department overtime report, they've used about a quarter of their overtime, which means there's 3/4 of their overtime remaining, with about 84% of the year remaining. So they're, again, it's running a little bit low, higher in overtime.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief.
Welcome.
Is there any new business to come before this committee at this time? All right.
As noted, I will provide a comprehensive report back to the EO 203 committee, as well as continue to work with them to provide additional questions back to PD on that policy implementation. Again, we've been having a number of conversations internally about not only the structure and organizational structure, but more of the philosophical approach to policing and how that translates back into implementing EO 203 and the types of programs that we need to provide for our community, as well as the most appropriate organizational structure to provide those things.
Thank you. I'll now recognize anybody in the audience who wishes to share their thoughts and concerns with the committee on any topic. Is there anybody online?
No.
Seeing none, I'll take a motion to go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Motion by Councilor Kelly, second by Mayor Rosenquist. All
Before
in
you
favor?
adjourn, I
Yes,
need to give
sir.
you an update on that farm animal.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a rooster.
Oh,
There's a claim.
Those darn roosters.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to verify.
okay, fair enough.
Is there,
Eternity, yeah.
do we
Yeah.
have anything written in code saying you can't have a
We
rooster?
do. Chickens specifically, we can not allowed to have chickens.
All right.
Well, farm animals.
Roosters eating noisy.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you, Council.
All in favor of ending this committee, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, we're now adjourned.